Hello everybody and welcome back to Typical City. It's a new day, so of course a new central attacking midfielder has been linked with Manchester City. Now it might be today that you're hearing it from me, but this news actually came from a Twitter account, a particular Twitter account that seems to be trying to find his feet in the transfer world, in the transfer market, and finding the ins and outs and the lowdown of what is going on at Manchester City Football Club. This particular Twitter account, The Real Told Me, reported the Paqueta deal a day or two before the mainstream media got hold of this information. So that's interesting, the fact that this guy's one bit of credible source there. Now he's suggesting Eze. Jack Gaughan today has taken hold of Eze's this particular information. Whether he's got that from the same Twitter account that we've all seen, told me have access to, and he's used that same information and produced an article from it, or he has his own sources. I like to think he's got his own sources for him to publish an article in the Daily Mail regarding this. He's quoting a different price to what Tolme was quoting yesterday, because Tolme was quoting yesterday £90 million for Emerechi Eze. Okay? 90 million. It's a joke of a figure, an embarrassment of a figure to make me think it just can't be true. City are not that stupid. There's no way they would just go from 85 million to Paqueta to Dani Olmo, who's in that same region. City would have to pay a similar sort of fee, to then go and spending more than that for a lesser player. And now I say lesser player, I think he's a good player. Is he good enough for Manchester City? I think potentially it's questionable. I think it's questionable. I think he is a good player, but there's a reason we went for Paqueta first, and then the rumours of Dani Olmo came through second. There's a reason why he's third choice. So even Eze's got to hold his hands up, and even if that was me, I'd say, look, how seriously do you want me? You know, because I heard all about Paqueta. You wanted him first. You can't have him. And then Dani Olmo was reported to be next. City approached RB Leipzig and was sent packing, basically. And there's no way you're going to be able to afford him. Not this summer, anyway. Not until the transfer of 2024 kicks in, when Dani Olmo's release clause kicks in. And that brings into question patience and the Kevin De Bruyne's injury. And this is why this stinks. It stinks of panic buy. It really does. It hums of it. It really does. And it's a problem. It's a problem. I think City are going to have to expect this now, that they know that this late in the window, Palace are not going to want to sell one of their pivot players, one of their strongest stones in their squad, and saying what a player he is for them. You know, in terms of the nucleus of their midfield and their attacking prowess that comes through Eze. Now, you throw 70 million at the situation. Have they got enough time to go and spend 70 million pounds and find a decent enough replacement? So that's going to make the price what it is. And it's so expensive to buy this late in the window. I understand that. I just feel like the Kevin De Bruyne injury is the whole reason this has gone to this particular level of almost desperation. We're dipping around our toes in the Crystal Palace squad now, and I understand there are players all over the world that are capable of playing, and the club they play for doesn't reflect how good they are as an individual, and sometimes it can harm how good they are as an individual, because you're only as good as the rest of the team that are surrounding you. So I still believe Eze is a good player. It's just that price, and it's just the sudden nature of it. You know, I'm just a little bit uncertain. I'm really on the fence with saying whether this is a good buy or not, because I think statistically, we can't rely on stats. I know numerous of you have come to me and said, you can't rely on stats. Yeah, no shit. Of course you can't. Obviously, you need to watch the play for 90 minutes, but it's a platform. What do you want me to do? Is not give you stats and just ignore them? I know the whole range of a player's spectrum and what they're capable of isn't always defined by a few numbers that I put on a screen. No shit, Sherlock. I understand that, but what I'm saying is they are a platform, and they give you a guidance, a little guidelines to understand. Then go and watch the player play for 90 minutes, understand how he fits in, what does he do off the ball, what's his movement like, what's his positioning like, what's his communication skills like with the rest of the team. So many factors that the stats can't bring into question. So I understand that. But here are his stats. Enjoy them. 40 appearances, 2,685 minutes, 10 goals to his name. Now that is a stat worth looking at, isn't it? That's an impressive stat. 10 goals in a Crystal Palace squad, getting double figures. Hey, Jack Grealish, mate, I'm sticking the knife in again. Are you watching? Because they're the numbers that Jack Grealish should be putting up. You know, he should be getting 10 goals a season as a minimum in this City team. You put Eze in the City team, what are the potential of those goals going up? In terms of the chances that City are likely to create, it goes up. 4 assists, not so great. You know, so I think there are areas of his game that clearly need improving. He's got a passing accuracy of 82.4%, which is decent. It's in the City range. Most of our midfielders, all of our midfielders, should be in the 80%, high 80s, really, with the way we keep the ball. Dribbles per game, 1.5 dribbles per game on average. Now, that is an area of his game that I think is exciting to City. He carries the ball really well. That is something to his game that I think a lot of the signings that we've looked at so far, even Gvardiol, can carry the ball very, very well. Kovacic, brilliant at carrying the ball. The transitional speed that City are obviously going for this season is something that Pep has noted, that there is a lack of speed and a lack of ability to carry the ball in that squad of last season. This season we've added Gvardiol, who can bring it out from the back, Kovacic, who can bring it. We've already seen him burst through the channels. You add Doku to that, a ridiculous ability to carry the ball, outrageous, unfathomable amount of ability to carry the ball. Scary, scary talent Doku is. Eze, not anywhere near Doku, but he's in that Kovacic ballpark. You know, we're now having players that can grab the ball and run with it. And I understand the ball always moves quicker than any human being can ever move. So that's why passing the ball is more important. But there have been occasions where I would have liked to have seen City get the ball, in particular in the final third, where we get to a wall of opposition defenders and we look short of ideas. We don't know what to approach to breach that defence, how to get past them. Sometimes it's just raw athleticism, just to get past them. Just old school athleticism, just pace and power. Just get past them. You sometimes intricate passes and triangles and delicate bits of football, and the little finer details of your passing can often pick a lock. I appreciate that, but having variations to the way we can play the game is something that I think Pep's really going for and doubling down on. And now I think Eze would be an okay signing. It's just the price. It's just the price. It's a joke, man. The guy shouldn't be anywhere near 70 million. 90 million is laughable. Laughable. 70 million, I'm not happy at all. You get into the 50, 60 million, but then we've gone and spent 55 million on Doku, who could questionably become a bargain. But this is a 25-year-old that hasn't really proven himself at a proper top level yet, even Champions League level. You know, he's gone from Championship at QPR through to Palace, spent a few years in the Championship, which is somewhat of a gauge. The Championship is an incredibly underrated league, but in terms of Premier League and going to that extra level, we're the treble winners. You know, we are the treble winners, the champions of Europe, the champions of England, and the FA Cup holders. Okay, so that's the standard. That's a huge standard. You know, it's not. We shouldn't be bargain hunting for players anymore. I do think we should be going for elite top level talent. Is Eze that? Ask yourself honestly. Go and get a list of 20 attacking midfielders that are realistically obtainable. You know, realistically obtainable. Nico Barella springs to mind. I'd rather him. I'd rather City go and spend 90 million on him than 70 million on Eze. I feel like there's more proven talent there at the top level of the game. You know, the mental side of the game comes into question. The talent this player has been shown in flashes. I understand that. And I've seen Eze have worldy of a games. I've also seen games where he's disappeared and he's buried his head under the ground and I can't see him. I don't know where he just becomes anonymous some games. And we can't afford that. You know, £70 million is not a fee you'd expect to spend on a player that could go missing in some games. And this just stinks of a panic buy to me. I'm not convinced this is going to be the greatest buy. I have a feeling it might be true as well. I feel like we might be going in. How much we have to spend is in question. The whole Kevin De Bruyne thing is the problem, though. That's what sparked this. I don't think we'd even be going here had Kevin De Bruyne not picked up that injury. I just don't think. I think we'd see out the 4 months with Kevin De Bruyne, get to January and go back in for Paqueta. Wait for all the betting scandal to blow over, wait for that to finish. In January, we had an £85 million deal in place, which shows that we wanted a different player to Eze. Our priority was Paqueta, not Eze. Remember that. So there were better players that we wanted. So we've had to lower our standards. And that's what we're dealing with now. We are lowering our standards. There's no two ways about it. It's undeniable. You can come at me all you want. You can't argue with that, because we have clearly gone in for players ahead of Eze. For good reasons as well, because they are better players, more suited to what Pep Guardiola wants. So, although I like the player Eze, I'm not saying he's a bad player. I haven't said those words once in this video. I'm sure some of you will have heard that. I didn't say it, but I'm sure some of you will have heard that. This player, is he good enough for Manchester City is the question. Not is he a good player, is he good enough for Manchester City? That's the question I want you to truthfully ask yourself. And my answer is, I don't know yet. I really don't know, because I think he could be a good player. The signs are there of a good player. It's just the consistency, the level of consistency from this player, week in, week out from Palace, from the Vieira days last season where he really struggled at Crystal Palace because Crystal Palace was struggling. So you need to cut him some slack because of the team that he's in. But then is he in the team because that's his level? Is Palace his level? You know, shining brightly in Crystal Palace. Is he going to shine brightly in Manchester City? I'm not so sure. But Blues, I want to hear your thoughts. What do you think about this deal? What do you think about the price tag? 70 million for Eze, all of a sudden as well. Would you rather wait for Paqueta in January, or would you just pull the trigger on this one now and just get it over the line and get a new attacking midfielder that has creativity, goals in his name, to his name as well? So we are signing a player that's going to get goals. That's a good thing, a very good thing. How many will he get in a City shirt? Yes, remains to be seen. I want to hear your thoughts. Get in the comments below. Like and subscribe. Typical City is the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.
This is Typical City.